Hi guys, welcome back to Tempe Creek. It's good to see you guys. Today we're doing one of my favorite types of videos. We're doing a video that's inside an actual building and I don't have to be outside in the Texas heat. But the main thing we're talking about today is how to make your homestead profitable. I see this question come up time and time again in the forums, and just like it's like one of the most popular YouTube videos that I've seen personally, but also like other YouTubers. Their most viewed video is like how to make a profitable homestead, or things to do to make money, that sort of thing. But as I've been watching them, I think they take a very different perspective than what I'm going to tell you here. In fact, the majority of the time when I see them on YouTube talking about it, they usually really talk a lot about cutting costs so that you can make your budget, right? So they often talk about stop eating out, reuse a lot of the stuff, and so that you can repurpose it, and so that you're not spending as much money. Which there's a lot to be said for that, but that's not really what I'm going to talk about, or like what I think you guys should do in order to make your homestead profitable. Most people do to make their homestead profitable. This is kind of an obvious one, is that we're all doing a homestead, a farm, because we like to be outside. We like doing those things, right? Whether it's like selling goat milk because you like goats, or selling the meat you get from your goats, whether it's selling produce or selling greens, right? You're out there, you're doing that because you enjoy it, and then you want to make some money on the side. But usually, for the standard sell value of those greens or those eggs, the markup is really, really low. Your margins are so low on that it's not, to me, it's not worth it really to do that, and that try to make that your main income source. Unless you're doing it at a large scale, it's the math isn't there for me to be doing that. And like, I'm not saying don't do those things, because those are the things you enjoy. And obviously, like if you're like making your own meat on the farm, awesome, that's amazing, right? But that's not really going to be where your the real money, I think, in order to make your homestead profitable, is consumer end products. What do I mean by consumer end products? What I mean is, don't sell that green, right? Those greens you've been growing at a farmer's market. You can do that still, but the markup is so low on that, the margin's so low. Instead, take those greens, make it into a meal, and sell tickets to a farm-to-table dinner, right? So I know personally, I would not expect any farm-to-table meal to be less than $50. And if you make it multiple course, add in a little bit of wine in there, I'm expecting $100 ticket, and I'm going to make an evening out of it with my wife and stuff, right? And so the margin on that is going to be exponential to what you're going to sell those same produce at a farmer's market. And so that's one example of what I'm talking about, making consumer end products. Another example would be selling milk. Some people sell milk, pasteurized, unpasteurized, however you do that. Instead of selling milk, maybe try selling cheese instead, right? The cheese keeps for a lot longer. You can have it in supply for a lot longer. And there's a better margin on that cheese than there is on the milk. So that's another example. Here on the farm, what we do, ours is obvious, right? We're Tempe Creek Vineyard and Farms. We do have all those other operations, the greens, the cows, but we don't make a lot of money off that. And that one actually is a little bit of cost savings, like I was saying earlier, like do those things because they're enjoyable, right? We have cows, we usually don't make any money off of it, but we save a ton of money because we're not really buying beef from anywhere, right? And so that's worth it to us. But we're not in the cow business to make money. But we did grow grapes, and then the obvious thing for that is to make that end consumer product, which is wine. And it's been really, really successful for us for what we thought we would, and then the scale at which we do it. We're really proud of what we've done, and we're really starting to see progress. towards our goals. Other examples of end product and consumer products is be experiences, and I think this is where homesteaders really sell themselves short in terms of what they should do in order to bring in some extra cash revenue or some extra revenue flows. Experiences are huge. You know, I talked about the farm to market dining experience. That's amazing. Another example would be, let's say you are having milking cows or goats. Do a whole day where you have people come in, they experience milking the goat or the cow, they learn how to do that, and then you set out a picnic for them and they can explore your homestead or whatever, right? That experience right there, I would pay at least $50 for that, right? Depending on what type of meal and all that sort of things involved with it. But that's like a big revenue stream. Other examples that we do here personally, we do like yoga in the vines, we do painting in the vines, right? All those are unique experiences that you get to do here at a vineyard that you can't do at anywhere, right? My last example I'm going to go ahead and explain for experiences would be, let's say you don't do yoga or all those other things. Let's say you're just a very hard, handsy sort of person. Well, those skills are also really popular to try to learn. For example, let's say you're a really good woodworker and you're really confident in your skills in woodworking. That is an excellent skill to do hold workshops where people come, they build small cabins over the weekend, over 3-4 days. You teach them all the skills at a small scale to build a house per se, and then they go home and now they're able to do a lot of those skills. They feel more confident, and then you've taught them something, and that's an additional revenue source. And at the end, you get a cabin that might not be any good, but you get a cabin that you're able to do something with, right? You could either sell it or use that cabin to start building rentals on your farm. The last thing has to do with rental space. And there's two ways to think about this. One, I read a comment a while back that really spoke to me. I was like, that's a really ingenious way to bring in some revenue. And so they owned a really big farm. They weren't using all parts of the farm, and so what they ended up doing is they ended up leasing out 1-acre plots for a 5-year lease to people to bring in extra cash revenue. And this person said they made enough to cover a lot of their costs to be able to basically build a lot of infrastructure and everything else you need to do right when you buy a homestead. Which I do think that's an ingenious thing to do, is just leasing out. And we actually do lease out a little bit of our land here, but not at that scale. We're really only leasing out about a 1/4 acre to some people, and that's it. But that's an easy way. You don't really have to do much, even if you do you lease out your pasture, those sorts of things. That's the easy way to bring in revenue. You're not really involved in it, and so. And the other part of rental space, so you have the land lease, but you could also make an area really nice and then rent that area out for functions, right? So you put up a pavilion, make it like where people want to be, make it a little bit big, so you can hold weddings. There's one we don't get them often, but when we do, it's a big windfall. But then again, this includes all the stuff we have to do to make that area nice, right? And then, or just for business functions, family reunions, all those things, you're having people come in, and then you're bringing in extra revenue from those functions. Anyways, guys, I think that's what you guys, if you're really trying to make a profitable homestead, you should really be looking at those consumer end products that are going to bring in the larger margins for you guys to basically make your dream come true and run a profitable homestead. So to recap, continue selling the things that you love to do on the farm, because you're going to do that anyways. Continue to focus on making consumer end products like dinners and cheese and things that involve a little more step past just taking it from the farm. Number 3, really capitalize on your experiences and try to bring in people so that they can live your experience, or so that they can learn from your experiences, right? So they can either experience what it is to be a sheep farmer, or learn to do woodworking, right? Both of those is sharing your experiences. And I think these doesn't happen enough. All right, and then the fourth thing is really capitalize on renting out your unused space, and then also using rental space to bring in things like weddings, anniversary parties, family reunions, or just having cabins there. All right. So, anyways, guys, that's it for me today at Tempe Creek. Oh, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed it. Even if you didn't enjoy it, go ahead and subscribe anyways. I'll bring you guys some more content here soon. Peace out.